Question is, shall the bill pass? The chair recognizes Representative Antonio.
Thank you, Speaker. Move to amend amendment 3020X1. I'd like to move to amend and also speak to the bill.
Pursuant to House Rule 91F, this amendment is out of order because it amends the same paragraph that was already previously amended by a previous amendment. The question is, shall the bill be amended as passed? I believe the lady wants to speak to the bill.
Thank you, Speaker. Had I been able to offer the amendment, it would have been to address the section of the bill that I'm speaking to the bill. This bill is a bill to have some pretty tough penalties. It's a 6-week ban on abortion. We know that. We also know that we've just heard from the sponsors. One sponsor talking about the celebration of life and the decision to become a parent and to celebrate the joys and the tribulations with that, because no new parent gets enough sleep ever. We know that. And the other sponsor to speak to the loss and how crushing that is to lose a child, to lose the potential, all those dreams that you put into the arrival of that child. So we have those experiences. There are 11 million people in the state of Ohio. None of us can know the experiences of all of the people in the state. We have a tough job. We're constantly trying to pass policies that we believe will be the best thing for the majority of people. We are divided. We are divided on this issue every time it comes up, every time we have a debate. And I know that in this chamber, there is respect on both sides for the fact that we are on different sides of how we see this issue. It's not a sporting event. We don't put on jerseys with D's or R's or pros or cons or whatever it is. We know it's a serious, serious discussion that we have. I also know that this bill makes no exception for pregnancies resulting from incest or rape. In most pregnancies, a fetal heartbeat can be detected as early as 6 weeks gestation, but often it's the case that a woman doesn't even know she's pregnant until after 6 weeks have lapsed, and or a fetal heartbeat is able to even be detected. This is especially true for women who are emotionally traumatized by rape. Such women have to make a plethora of critical decisions in the aftermath of their rape. Many can't anticipate a pregnancy arising from the crime against them. They're still dealing with the trauma of being assaulted. These women should not be forced to prioritize monitoring for a nearly detectable early sign of pregnancy over seeking counseling or injury treatment, pursuing legal assistance, other critical services in the aftermath of sexual violence, nor should they be forced to carry a rapist child to term, because that's what this bill would force them to do. It's also concerning that the standpoint of pregnancy that results from rape within the context of domestic violence. Representative Boyd and I have a bill. We have talked previously about the heartbreak, the trauma of domestic violence. We must do everything we can to protect the victims of domestic violence, and yet it's a common tactic for abusers to sabotage or withhold their partner's birth control, force them to become pregnant through rape as a means of further controlling them, and then to prevent them from accessing health care until after a fetal heartbeat is detectable. These are unintended consequences, I know, but they could be consequences of this legislation. According to the World Health Organization, batterers who are physically violent with their pregnant partners are more likely to murder them, and pregnant women in violent relationships are less likely to access prenatal care. Women in such circumstances should not be forced to carry their pregnancy to term if they make the decision not to. Forcing a victim of rape or incest, some children as young as 11 years old, to carry their rapist child to term is a further physical violation and an extension of the loss of control over her body that she experienced originally from the assault. If a woman wishes to carry a pregnancy to term under these circumstances, that's her decision, and it should be respected. But if a woman doesn't want to carry that pregnancy to term, she should not be forced to do so. Victims of rape should not have additional control over their bodies taken away from them. They should retain every existing safe, legal, federally permitted option to decide what is best for them. This is not an easy decision, but it should be a victim, a survivor's decision to make, because it was not her decision to be raped or to be sexually assaulted in the first place. For the many victims who become pregnant through rape or incest and wish to keep their child, Ohio doesn't provide adequate custody provisions. We've tried, we've amended the provisions, specifically through positive efforts we did make in 2013 to provide some level of protection, but the efforts weren't able to go far enough to protect rape victims or the children conceived as a result of those heinous acts. As it currently stands, a rapist is only denied custody on the grounds of a criminal court finds beyond a reasonable doubt that the perpetrator raped the victim. This falls below the federal standard Rape Survivor Child Custody Act, which acknowledges the extreme difficulty of achieving a rape conviction because of unique evidentiary standards in issues or a victim's decision not to report the rape. Because Ohio's current law falls below the federal standard, a rapist who evades conviction, however narrowly, can continue to seek custody rights for the child resulting from rape until the child turns 18. This is untenable for the victim. It should be permitted, they should be permitted to move on with her life, and dangerous for the child who risks being handed over to a rapist or a perpetrator of incest. Victims deserve to have control over what happens to their body in the aftermath of rape or incest. For these reasons, we should not re-victimize these survivors. We should not take away their inalienable right to self-determination. I urge a no vote.